Ladies and gents, welcome back. A key development in the story of foreign interference here in Canada from the Chinese Communist Party. The Special Rapporteur hired by Justin Trudeau, the family friend, ski buddy, and cottage neighbor, has resigned. He has stepped down from his position effective the end of this month. He put out a letter, an open letter to Justin Trudeau here. Let's have a little zoom in. Dear Prime Minister, when I undertook the task of independent special rapporteur on foreign interference, my objective was to help build trust in our democratic institutions. Well, hint, you did exactly opposite of that. Most people have less trust because you were the one hired, David Johnston. Of course, as we saw, and we're going to get into later in this video, more information about just how incestuous this whole relationship has been. I have concluded that given the highly partisan atmosphere around my appointment and work, my leadership has had the opposite effect. Yeah, you'd be right. I am therefore tendering my resignation effective no later than the end of June 2023, or as soon as I deliver a brief final report, which I hope to be earlier. Well, we're hoping that you get replaced with somebody who could, well, maybe a report that it would have a little bit more teeth, of course, and, well, maybe something that is a little bit more open to the public, i.e. a public inquiry, a deep and comprehensive review of foreign interference, its effects, and how to prevent it should be an urgent priority of your government and our parliament. Although I concluded that the public inquiry in the Inquiries Act would not be a useful way to deal with that, with what is almost exclusively classified information, I recommended public hearings both to educate the public and consider necessary reforms to various aspects of the government system and policies dealing with the foreign interference. The conclusion pages of my first report identified numerous areas in need of study, analysis, and reform, including, although not limited to, the effects of foreign interference on diaspora communities, legal and regulatory reforms necessary for more comprehensive address foreign interference and comprehensive review of the way in which intelligence is communicated and processed from security agencies, through to within government. Well, one of them could be, how about don't conclude your report before you do all your interviews? This was, of course, highlighted by Aaron O'Toole when he was interviewed, and he realized that the report was already being translated to French, so that, well, because it was finalized at that point before he even got information from some of the people he was interviewing. I encourage you to appoint a respected person, because he didn't do that the first time, with national security experience to complete the work that I recommended in my first report. Ideally, you would consult with opposition parties to identify suitable candidates to lead this effort. My legal team and I will be happy to assist in any way we can. Yours faithfully, David Johnson, the Right Honorable David Johnson. Well, I don't know if he's going to live up to that name moving forward in the future. Now, we're going to get into more that's come out about David Johnson and his ties with Trudeau, but what was Trudeau's reaction to this whole situation? Oh my God! Wow, okay, he left. He took off. He took off immediately when the news broke. And why do we know that he took off immediately? Why was it? Well, because even CBC reporting on this put Prime Minister Justin Trudeau paid a surprise visit to Kyiv on Saturday to announce another $500 million that we're going to give in military aid to the Ukraine to step up its long anticipated counteroffensive to Russia's army. Now, this is another $500 million that we can't afford. Thanks a lot, Justin Trudeau, with a surprise visit. This is the nice headlines that they're giving, because this is obviously the CBC. You turn to other news outlets and you get a little bit more scathing reports here. Trudeau to the rescue with a big old question mark. Justin flees to Kyiv to meet with Zelensky as Canada burns. And quite literally, Canada's burning with the wildfires, but also his reputation and the political burning that's happening. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a surprise visit. Surprise! There's scandals happening, and it's not looking so good for him. So surprise, runs away. I mean, he was known as the coward of the cottage. now he's what? Coward of the Kyiv bunker, where he's going to hide with Zelensky. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a surprise visit to Kyiv to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Saturday, despite political scandals and raging wildfires at home. And this is the situation that we're dealing with here. Now, this is another article from the CBC talking about David Johnston resigning as Special Rapporteur on foreign interference, then pointing out that Johnston said that while he was friends with Prime Pierre Trudeau, Justin's daddy, and skied with the Trudeau family back when Justin Trudeau and his brothers were children, he hasn't had any meetings, dinners, or personal contact with Trudeau in the past 40 years. Now, he doubled down on this when he was asked from reporters after he had made his report, and here's his words here.
In that period of time, until he became a Liberal member of Parliament and I was Governor General, I had no meetings with Mr. Trudeau, Mr. Justin Trudeau. I had no letters that I can recall, no telephone calls. The only occasion I recall meeting him in that period of 40 years was at the funeral of his father, which my wife and I attended. So there was no interaction with respect to the current Prime Minister of a friendly kind, other than the respect I have for a graduate of McGill University. And my only real contact occurred when he became an elected member of Parliament and I held the office of Governor General. Those are the facts of the so-called friendship and scheme.
So those are the facts. Well, let's look at some of these facts. So he claims here that he was never in contact with Justin Trudeau for any reason until he had become a member of Parliament. And those are the words he says. Now, images started making their way out there of a speech that was given by David Johnston here. And, well, here he is. This is back in March 2006. These images, courtesy of Mohammed Janda on Flickr. And where did these images go? Oh, who's that? Who's that guy giving you a hug? Of course, yes, this is the images on this page. Mohammed Janda. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but showing this meeting that is also confirmed. Now, these photographs were uploaded in 2009, you can see here, but the meeting itself, and this is confirmed by Wikimedia Commons, that this meeting was David Johnston introduces Justin Trudeau at the University of Waterloo in March 2006. This is a meeting. So what happened here? What is going on? Why are we being lied to? And would he come clean? No. Instead, as this stuff came about, it became clear that there was a conflict of interest. Of course, David Johnston reached out to a judge to ask if there was any conflict of interest possibly there. Now that judge said, no, it doesn't look like there's any conflict of interest. Of course, that judge that he reached out was also a fellow member of the Trudeau Foundation. But this is the reality of the situation. Now, all this information I got from Vesper D on Twitter. He laid out this all in a very shareable video that you can rip and put on your social media, or you can share it out, retweet it. I'll leave a link in the description down below. He encourages people to just steal his stuff and share it out there as much as possible. You don't need to even give him credit for it, but this is definitely the timeline here. It's laid out perfectly how David Johnston was actually in contact with Trudeau, and perhaps even campaigning for him, because this is his journey to the Prime Minister's office. And this was right at the same time that meeting was occurring, and he was trying to get himself into office, which would probably implicate more of a political move for why that meeting took place back in 2006. So that's where we are there with that. But of course, more grilling that was occurring just prior to his resignation. Here we have Larry Brock, amazing MP, standing up and asking questions to him here.
Through you, Madam Chair. Mr. Johnston, in 2010, Justin Trudeau, as a private citizen before entering into politics, told CBC Radio that you were a great dinner companion. He specifically said, quote, "We had great conversations around dinner tables, around all sorts of things." This was said around the same time that you were being appointed as our Governor General. Were you aware of that statement, sir?
Madam Chair, I was not aware of that statement in connection with Mr. Trudeau. My meeting with him occurred when he was 10 or 11 years old, skiing with my children 4 or 5 times.
Thank you.
So have you believe that these amazing conversations that Trudeau was talking about, I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I'll leave a link in the description down below, but he doesn't actually answer any of the questions. But he'll have you believe that the conversations talking about a myriad of different subjects all happened when Trudeau was sitting at the kiddie table as a young, as a baby. But no, this was actually, as it turns out, they had a relationship. They were friendly with each other, as would be indicated in some of these photos that are making their way out there now. And of course, the reason probably why he decided to finally throw in the towel and resign his position as Special Rapporteur. Now, this is left open. What is going to happen? There needs to be a public, very public, not a private, not behind closed doors, sworn to secrecy meetings about what's happened with the interference between Beijing, the Chinese Communist Party, and the Trudeau government. Will have to only time will tell, as this is getting very bad, because it wouldn't be if he didn't flee the country. Anyway, I'll leave this one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about David Johnston stepping down as Special Rapporteur. What's going to happen next? What do you think? Do you think we'll see some sort of transparency in the Trudeau government? We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.